sagisi.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for the Midday News. Another Member of Parliament has passed on. MP for Porgera Paila, Maso Karipe, passed away last night after battling a long illness. Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso has confirmed his passing. Late Karipe was first elected to the 11th Parliament in the 2022 National General Election for the Porgera Pahile open seat as an independent candidate. He later joined the Pangu Party. The Porgera Pahile electorate was one of the 7 new electorates created by the government in 2022. Late Karipe was also appointed as chairman of Emergency last September and was a member of the Public Accounts Parliament Committee under the Marpe Rosso cabinet. The new retail fuel prices for this month has effectively reduced and will take effect today in Port Moresby. This was announced by the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission, or ICCC Commissioner Paulus Ahin, through a press conference yesterday. In Port Moresby, Ahin said the indicative retail prices for petrol, diesel and kerosene will hold decrease on average throughout PNG, starting effectively in Port Moresby. Ahin said the average crude oil price decrease was mainly attributed to the reduced demand from China, as China's manufacturing activities have slowed down.
Retail prices for the petroleum price for the month of November will see 4 kina 46 toya, close to 4 kina 47 toya, a reduction of 22 toya. Diesel will see a reduction by 17 toya, and it will go down to 4 kina 55 toya. Kerosene will go down to 4 kina 27 toya, a reduction of 17 toya from last month. So for throughout the country, all these price reductions must be passed on to the consumers.
The government has granted initial approval for the establishment of a rice special economic zone in the country, which will include a joint venture between the state and Rigo Rice. Prime Minister James Marape made the announcement recently, underlining the government's commitment to kickstart a substantial commercial rice industry within the next 5 years, with the goal of replacing the country's annual rice imports valued at over 900 million. Marape stressed the significance of this national project, stating that the government places the highest priority on this initiative and is eager to see the state negotiating team conclude negotiation for a joint venture between the state and the Rigo Rice, which will be established without delay to nurture the domestic rice industry. He emphasized the need to reduce the country's reliance on rice imports, which currently stands at over 400,000 tons annually. The Melanesian Spearhead Group has appointed Fijian Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka and Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape as special envoys to address the West Papua issue. Prime Minister Rabuka said the decision was made during the MSG sub-regional meeting on Monday on the fringes of the Forum Leaders meeting in Rarotonga, Cook Islands. This decision aligns with the Pacific Highlands Forum Leaders 2019 resolution advocating for the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights to conduct a mission in West Papua and the Papuan provinces. Rabuka explained West Papua independence leader and founder of Free West Papua campaign, Benny Wenda, has welcomed the latest MSG leaders' decision. Wenda says this is a very welcome appointment. Hopefully, it helps to implement the MSG's call for an investigation in West Papua by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. The death toll from the Israel-Gaza war continues to climb, with the Hamas-run health ministry saying 10,000 people have been killed so far, 4,000 of which are children.
Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children. Hundreds of girls and boys are reportedly being killed or injured every day. More journalists have reportedly been killed over a 4-week period than in any conflict in at least 3 decades. More United Nations aid workers have been killed than in any comparable period in the history of our organization.
The Melanesian Spearhead Group has agreed to appoint a special envoy to engage in talks with Indonesia on the issue of West Papua. This was confirmed by Fijian's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka at the end of MSG leaders' sub-regional meeting in Rarotonga on Tuesday. Pacific leaders have agreed to maintain open and constructive dialogue with Indonesia on the issue of alleged human rights abuses and violation in West Papua. Agreement on a visit to West Papua by UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights was negotiated more than a year ago, but never materialized, prompting a series of complaints from the UN. A request to visit remains outstanding. Meanwhile, Rabuka said the non-attendance of other MSG leaders at this year's Pacific Highlands Forum is not a sign of disrespect to the forum. In sports, the 2022 Hagma Pacific Nines Cup holders, Port Moresby Funeral Home Laumas, are hard at training in preparation to defeat the major silver wave this year. The tournament, confirmed for November 23rd and 24th in Wewak, has attracted 24 teams from around the country. Laumas have been part of the Pacific Nines Challenge since its inception in 2020 and recorded their first win last year after defeating another Port Moresby teams, Sharks of Tatana, in the grand final hosted for the first time in Maprik. Senior player and survivor of last year's grand final premier side, David Gillespie, said this year they have a new look side comprising mostly young boys who are ready to step up.
Training and progress well. I'm not some little voice. Weeks coming weeks here, but I focus any combinations from them. And some like the combination that I go now. Like finish, play well. So I'm see because I will play rugby now. Just enjoy sports so long can come. Good experience. Nice to place. I'm going to look forward again to go back to Maprik back for our defending cup.
Well-known engineering consultant Kremau Senko responded last week to an appeal for assistance for the East New Britain Athletics preparation for the Pacific Games with a 10,000 kina contribution towards their travel costs and lead-up preparations. Athletics PNG is responsible for flying athletics into Port Moresby as well as payment of the levy fees of 2,000 kina per person and the cost of their lead-up preparations. NSL-based Adolf Kauba and Lay-based Scholastic Hammond flew into Port Moresby and into Brisbane on Monday last week, along with Hen-City-based Eldon Totti. The athletics are spending a little over 3 weeks at the Gold Coast before traveling to Honiara in time for the athletic competition, which commenced 27 November. Athletics PNG President Tony Green said there had been a lot of concern about funding for games preparation, but he considers this program very important and one that will lift athletic morale. That's all for now. Do join us this evening at 6 for the main news. Bye now.